Hey folks, this is Adam with Modern Survival and Self-Reliance. Today I wanted to shoot a quick video on this Predator 3500 generator. This is one from Harbor Freight. We got this several months back as we were downsizing and getting ready to move into a RV. We needed a power source for the RV, and I didn't have the funds to be outfitted fully with solar and all that, so this seemed like the cheapest option at the time. And everything I saw online, they had pretty good reviews on them, so I went with them. I got it on a yard sale deal at Harbor Freight. We've ran it pretty hard. I feel kind of bad. I haven't done really any maintenance to it. It's got the original oil I put in it, original spark plug, and I think it's got over 800 hours on it right now on the first oil change. The other thing is I didn't even add the extended warranty to it. I got it and went, and we were so busy. I don't really have any real good excuses, but we were really busy downsizing and getting moved in, and it was just kind of the least of my priorities at the time. So yesterday I finally got an inverter hooked up in the camper where we can run off battery, and got a swamp cooler going. It draws a lot less power, and so now I've got a minute to actually work on this. I've been running it pretty hard at night. It's got a 2.5 gallon gas tank on it, and if we're running the AC, which is a 15,000 BTU AC, 2.5 gallons will get us through a night. So like from 9 or 10 at night till 8 or so in the morning, it'll run. If I don't do that and I run it on eco mode, it'll run a lot longer, but I can't run the AC on the eco mode. So we've gotten a swamp cooler now, running that off an inverter, and hopefully save some fuel in this. But I'm gonna start it. It hasn't been started in over 24 hours because we ran out the batteries last night. So I'm going to start it up. We'll look at what the hours are on it. Then we're going to do an oil change, and I'm going to swap out the spark plug for an NGK. This is a 7131. Got this from O'Reilly's. Going to use a 13/16 spark plug socket to remove the spark plug. And I think the drain plug in it is a 10 millimeter. It's a 10 or an 8. So I'm going to start it up. We'll look at it. I'm going to fill my air compressor up because I have a feeling there's a lot of dust under here. And we'll go through the process of changing the oil. So stay with me here. All right, so here's a basic startup on this thing. You want to make sure that the eco mode is on off, and going to turn it to start. Push this button, and then after just a second, I'll flip it to run. This might be so hot that don't need this. Yeah. All right. So if you push right here, you can see hours, 984 hours. And 24 volts. All right, so a lot of that rattling you heard when I started it up wasn't the generator making that noise. It was all my wrenches and sockets and stuff vibrating on a glass table. And if you noticed it, when I turned it to start, it didn't start right away. That's just because it was so warm that you can go ahead and hit it right to run, and it'll start up. The only problem I've had with this in the 980 something hours, which is probably around 800, is the spark arrestor on the back here got clogged up and the generator wouldn't start. So we got that cleaned up, put it back in, and then it fired right back up. But that's been the only issue so far that I've had. All right, to start with this oil change, got a little metal pan here. Got this thing sitting up on some boards. Should be warm enough now. I let it run for just a couple minutes. It's hot out here. I'm sure the oil is going to be warm. So this is the normal fill door for your oil. And it says you're supposed to check the oil every 8 hours. I'm going to be honest, I haven't done that. It's got a sensor in it. I don't think you can rely on it fully, but if it's low on oil, it won't start. Kind of went off that just because I've been super busy, but I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know what may happen. Take these screws loose. Those screws should stay in the panel. You lift this rubber up. Oh, that screw doesn't stay in the panel. So there's that cover. Set that right there. I don't know where that screw went, but I got a maggot. I don't know if you can see in here, this is pretty dusty. Your oil fill is right here. And when you get your generator, it comes with funnel. Fits right in there, so you don't have to take this cover off. You just open that little small door, drop that guy in there. This is also your dipstick that shows you how much oil's in it. So you can see that? That's pretty dark. So we'll set that right here. And stick this oil pan under here. There's a hole in the bottom where this oil is going to drain out. I don't know if you can see. There's a little screw in here. Let me move this. That little screw right there is your drain screw, and then drip right down this guy. It's a little rubber flap, and there's a hole down here, and put this oil pan under there to catch it. All right. I think it was a 10 millimeter. Save myself the trouble, and I'm gonna grab a socket. All right, I got a socket. I'm gonna blow this quick with the air compressor. I'm gonna put my drain plug back in so I don't blow dirt all in the motor. Put these on real quick. All right, good enough right now. Pretty dusty. All right. So off camera, I did pull. There's a rubber grommet for the spark plug. It's right here. Pull that out. This is that 10 millimeter. What is it? Pokey in your foot?
Two pokies.
Two pokies. Let me see your foot.
It's stuck in there. No.
Okay.
It's stuck in there.
You good now?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let that drain for a minute.
Dad,
While I'm waiting,
Wait, Mom.
work on the spark plug real quick.
I'm handsome.
13-16 socket. It'll just barely fit in this hole right here.
Mom, can you open the door? I can't. I can't. See, I can't.
You need help, Boo Boo?
You will open it. And now you can open it.
I'm really interested in seeing what this spark plug looks like after 984 hours. I've heard that the ones that come in these generators aren't that great. And I'm also kind of interested in seeing if I get more out of a tank of gas with this NGK spark plug. Actually looks better than what I was expecting. This is a Torch F7 RTC. Cameras, folks. It's pretty hot right now. Sorry for the racket. Alright. Go ahead and get the NGK out. Shiny. Trying to start it with that socket and it wasn't getting at the right angle there, I don't think so. Alright. That grommet tore a little bit when I pulled it out. So it's giving me a little bit of difficulty now. I don't know how important it is that it's in there. Oil looks like it's pretty much drained out. Tilt it here. Snug that now. This is the stuff I used for cleaning the spark arrestor off. I'm just going to clean the oil off in there. Wipe this dipstick off. This is the oil that it came with, so when I filled it initially, it looks like it took about, there's 8 ounces left in there, so it took about 20 ounces maybe, 28 ounce jug. All right, so that's completely full now. Throw that back in there. I'm gonna hit it with that cleaner real quick. Just getting the rest of the oil residue off. All right, throw this cover back on real quick. That one I'm gonna have to get a magnet for. All right, drug the magnet, found this other screw. Get it back in here. All right, pull this oil out, show you this. Not a ton of oil, but it definitely needed changed. That's pretty dark right there. Set it right here. All right, next thing we'll do is change the spark arrestor. All right, we'll clean this spark arrestor now. So there's 6 screws on this.
Hold on, he's dropping on me this time.
Alright, that lifts out.
Swimming jacket on. It's not swimming jacket on. It's a floaty.
I'm talking about your floaty, man.
Dad, you put this on.
All right, you can see this guy, and this was just cleaned a week ago, and we were having issues with it. It's still pretty hot. Here's the inner screen. That thing's pretty dirty. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of air. That barely does anything, so. Cleans it up a little bit. All right. What you got there? Huh? No, I'm good. I need water. Put this cover back on. You got two little tabs down in the bottom that pops up.
Dad, those bees coming in line. I got in one first, and I splashed up, but they didn't get out.
What, the bees?
Yeah, the bees come in back and forth,
They're probably
back and forth.
Yeah, they're probably looking for the water right now. They're thirsty.
Don't need to go to the underwater where mean
You don't-
bees are. The big mean bees are.
You don't want them in the pool?
Yeah!
I hear you.
The bees keep coming in because I was going swimming. The keep going and the other bees were in too. I was going swimming. So get the flight method and smack them, smack them, smack them.
Hey, if they're bees, let them be, okay? You can hit the flies. Let the bees. We need the bees. We need the bees.
That means the bees come in. So that means I get out. It makes me get out.
You're getting out
Yeah,
so you don't get stung?
yeah.
That's smart. I don't know if they'd really sting yet, but they might.
Don't do the dude. The Wednesday was the last night when we were sleeping,
Okay.
and he cried and that sting.
Okay. All right, we'll start it back up. Priority warm, so we'll just hit it on run. That's good to go. All right, so this is it running with the AC on. This is as loud as it gets. It did come new with this plug for the RV plug. See, it's putting out, it's pulling 121 volts, it looks like, 19.7 amps. That is 984 hours. This one's been on for 4 minutes. All right, it's going to conclude this video. Got the oil changed, spark plug changed, and cleaned that spark arrestor up, and it's running good now. They wanted to run the AC in there. It's hot. It's 100 degrees probably right now and dry, but it's a dry heat. So they wanted to run the AC for a little bit, so they're running the AC in there. And I don't know if you can hear it behind me, but that's pretty much as loud as it gets. That's the AC draws about the most of anything we have. Yeah, I hope this video is helpful for somebody. What I'm trying to do with this channel is encourage people to be as self-sufficient as possible. You know, with this little project here, you just needed a few basic tools. That spark plug that I pulled out looks like it probably still has life in it. I'm going to spray it with that carb cleaner and put it away in a box with my RV stuff, just in case I happen to need another spark plug or something happens to that one. I'll have the one that I know was working in it. It barely used any oil, 20 ounces of oil, I think, somewhere in there, 20, 24 maybe, I don't know. But really no oil for how much I've ran it. It doesn't really look like it's burned any in the 900 and something hours. You find this video helpful, I appreciate it if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot of these videos. We've got some videos I need to post. I've got one on a Suburban, an 84 K20 Suburban that I put a motor in. But yeah, I just want people to be as self-sufficient as possible. Yeah, this generator, you know, the brown stinky stuff hits the whirly thing on the ceiling. There may not be gas except for what I have stored up, and I'm not going to be able to rely on the generator. And that's why I've been really wanting to get the solar panel setup working. This came with a solar panel. I had to add 2 batteries. The batteries are bad in it. I got 2 deep cycle 12 volt batteries. We ran this 2000 watt power inverter. I'll do a video on that soon. That I also got from Harbor Freight. It was a returned item. So I got a little bit cheaper, like maybe $70 cheaper than what they normally run. That inverter is a 4000 peak watt, 2000 continuous watt inverter. I hooked that up yesterday to the batteries that I had. I had to get some 2-gauge wire and find a place to mount it where it could breathe inside the camper. And then I also got a swamp cooler. We're out here where it's so dry that you can run swamp coolers to cool with. So last night was the first night I was able to stay cool in that camper all night off a swamp cooler, and it ran just off the 2 batteries. I think the swamp cooler pulls about 60, I want to say it was 66 watts or something. We ran that all night. This morning early I heard a beeping noise, which I thought was maybe the inverter letting me know that the battery was getting low. So I jumped up, flipped it off, but then I checked the control panel in the RV and the battery said they were still 2/3 full. So I was like, maybe it's not that. And then I looked on the swamp cooler and it was actually just low on water. So that inverter's keeping up. The solar panel is keeping the batteries charged. And other than like using our air fryer, which I haven't tried it on the inverter may run that all right. The only thing I'm really needing the generator for right now is just run the AC. And it gets cool enough at night here in the desert that we can knock the cool off knock the heat out of the camper at night, and then with the AC, and then turn it off just a little ways after dark, and then it stays cool enough all night. But it's nice to have the swamp cooler going and air circulating. I'll do some videos on that soon if you'd like. And yeah, that's where we're at. We're finally got off grid. We got a garden going in. That's part of why I neglected the generator as long as I did, was we downsized, kind of made some modifications to this RV to fit us and the kids. Got this thing out here into the desert to the new spot, got garden going, got irrigation going, drip system going in with a timer and pulling off a tank, 275 gallon tank. It was just a lot of little projects all at one time, and the generator kept chugging along, so it just kept getting pushed to the back burner. You know, part of being self-reliant really is keeping up on the maintenance of the stuff you have, and it was my bad for neglecting it as long as I did. But it's just hard when people want to be cool, and it's going to take a little time to unplug the thing and, you know, get the tools out when you got a bunch of other little projects going. So finally that's off my list. I'll shoot a video on the inverter, like I said, and the solar panel and the batteries, and drop some more videos here as I come out with them. But yeah, sorry this video ran on as long as it did. Kids were making a lot of noise in the background. I was stopping to pull life jackets off and stuff. The kids swimming in the little pool, so a little bit time consuming, but glad I shot it. Hope you all liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. One thing I forgot to mention about that generator, it is electric start, but it does have a pull start on it. I haven't had to use it. The batteries stayed charged ever since we've been using it. Literally have had no issues with that generator other than that spark arrestor getting clogged up. And what happened was the generator shut off. It would turn over, but it wouldn't start. And we took it apart, cleaned it. Actually, my brother did. I was on shift, I was working, so I wasn't even here. I got a call. Generator stopped working. It's hot. My brother pulled it apart, cleaned the spark arrestor for me, and it fired back up. So one other thing is, these generators, if you overfill them, which this is another little project I got to do, when filling the gas, there's a screen inside the fill, the top of the tank, with a 5-gallon can. It's one of them stupid cans that you have to push the safety in and then push the nozzle down to release the gas. I've had the lip caught on the edge of the gas tank, and it slipped off and pushed the screen into the tank, so it's dropped down in there. But that had a fill level in it, little red bar inside the screen, the filter, on where to fill to. And I know we've overfilled the gas a couple times, and there's a little canister on the side in there. You'll probably see it in this video. It's the little thing to the right of where the spark plug is, a little black box. That little thing's a little filter canister type thing where gas fumes go. I've heard that if that gets too much gas in there, it'll kind of flood out and it'll be hard to start. So I don't know if that's what happened that day. I wasn't here, but after cleaning the spark arrestor and putting that back in, it fired right up, and it's ran probably another 100 hours or more since then, and haven't had any issues. So anyway, it's a good little generator. If I had to do it again, I'd drop the money on it. I think it was about $700 when I got it. The downside to it is if you're running it constantly to keep AC going, right now with gas prices being, you know, $4 or whatever a gallon here in Utah, it's going to run about $600 a month to keep it running. So I wanted to get away from that, so I dropped a little bit of money into that inverter and some cable and the swamp cooler, and I think that's going to offset us in the long run on the gas for the generator. But anyway, that's what it is. It's been a great little buy. I like it. I'd get another one in a heartbeat. I would put the insurance on it or whatever, the warranty plan. The 2-year I think was a couple $100. She told me I had 90 days to come back and if I wanted to put it on. Then a buddy of mine told me it was 30 days, and when he told me it was 30, I was already past the 30 days, so I didn't go back. I don't know if it's 30 or if it's 90 at this point. You might want to look into that, but I'd probably, if I had it to do again, I'd get the warranty plan on it. But anyway, it is what it is, and it's been good so far. Thank you. Sorry I've rambled on so long. It's gonna be a little bit longer video, but I hope it's got some information in it for you. And y'all take care. Keep prepping. Keep preparing. There's lots of information online. Anything you pretty much want to learn how to do is online right now. The internet might not be around forever. And if it is, there's probably some point that we're all going to want to step away from it because of all the AI stuff and the crazy stuff that's going on. One day I'll probably just cut it all off and walk away. But I'm not there yet. But now's the time to learn things, figure things out, gather your tools, gather your resources, gather your information, store it, teach your wife, teach your kids, teach your family, teach your husbands. You know, if you got to store it up here, once the internet's gone, it's still up here, hopefully. But now's the time to be learning stuff, doing stuff for yourself, and not paying somebody else to do it. I mean, one way to beat inflation is to grow your own food and do your own projects and don't pay anybody else to do them. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to learn as I go. Don't be afraid of it. If you screw up, there's probably get online. There's probably a video on how to fix it, so I wouldn't worry too much. Talk to people. There's so many people out there with so much information that all you have to do is ask. You know, I came across that with my Suburban swapping motors. I've never done that before. I've got a buddy of mine, he's done it. He helped me out. We got it done, and I don't know how much it saved. I didn't even get a quote on what it'd be to swap a motor from one vehicle to another, but it's in. Suburban's been running great. It's been pulling this camper. So anyway, don't be afraid of it. Just do it. That's not a plug for Nike, but just do it. Just do it yourself, guys. Stay tuned for another video. Take care.